Do you think that men and women are different in terms of their intuition and their ability to, you're smiling, their ability to kind of understand some of these forces that exist in the air? Because my girlfriend seems to be so attuned to feelings and intuition, and I'm less so.
Yeah, so if let's put it like this. If you had 100 people in a room, 50 men and 50 women, and you asked them to line up in order of height, not all the men would be taller than all the women. In the middle, there'd be a bit of a mixture. And it's like that with the brain and intuition and everything else. So yeah, there's some disparity. So I think most people would agree that it feels like more women are in touch with their intuition than men, but it's absolutely not all women versus all men.
Do you believe women are more in touch with their intuition?
I think they're more open to accepting that it's a thing. And I believe that more men need the science to explain how intuition works.
Interesting. I wondered if there was like a neurological reason for that. I think there'd be more women and men that believed in intuition and those like feelings that are hard to explain. And
That's changed a lot. I mean, I remember when I was teaching at MIT about 7 years ago, and I was teaching the science of intuition, someone actually stood, and it's all senior leaders in the classroom, it's executive education. Someone stood up and said, well, I'm not going to make a really important decision like hire or fire based on my gut feeling, am I? And he was quite young, and quite a few of the older guys turned around and were like, that's absolutely how I would make my decision and my most important decisions. But at that time, it was still kind of like, not everybody was really sure that that's like your superpower. But I think people are beginning to understand more that with age and experience and wisdom, you do understand that intuition is actually your strongest, should be your strongest decision-making modality.
What is intuition?
So because you can't remember everything that you've experienced in your whole life, but, somewhere in the neural architecture and in the gut neurons as well, that information is stored because you have experienced it. So maybe you would say that you understand that wisdom and experience is the product of patterns that you've seen repeating in your life that are conscious to you. Intuition is the lessons that you've picked up along the way that you're not conscious of, but they're still stored in your nervous system. And so the less conscious you are of them, the deeper they're pushed into the nervous system. So there's a process called Hebbian learning, named after the neuroscientist Donald Hebb. And it's basically, neurons that fire together, wire together, but it's that the things that you've learned today, like things that you've learned by speaking with me, that's going to be very front of mind and kind of just in like little pathways that are just kind of connecting up with each other. But stuff that you learned when you were 5, like when you put your hand in a fire and it burnt you and you never ever want to do that again, that's deep down. You're not really conscious of that, but and other things maybe that you don't recall. So we believe that that wisdom gets pushed from the outer cortex into the limbic system, which is the emotional system of the brain, into the brainstem, into the spinal cord, and into the gut neurons. And that's why they sometimes call it gut instinct, because it's that feeling of knowing something but not knowing why you know it. But it's actually to do with the fact that you have wisdom and experience that it's embodied in you, but you're not conscious of it necessarily.
It's quite surprising to hear that those memories, that wisdom could be in the gut. People think of, I think I'm certainly someone who always thought that my cognition, my memories and all of the intelligence exists just in my brain.
Your memories and your cognition and your IQ are in your brain, but your intuition is in your brain and your gut.
This sounds super stupid, but I don't care. I should just be honest about my stupidity. Where in my gut? I'm like, I thought that was like my stomach. That's where I put the food.
Yeah. So, you've got your stomach, you've got your small intestine, you've got your large intestine.
Yeah.
You have other organs, your liver, your spleen, your kidneys, and they're all innervated, which means they've all got nerves going into them. So does your heart. So, we could have a similar conversation like this about your heart as well, because your heart only knows how to beat because of the nerves that penetrate it. So, this round brain in here and the spinal cord that goes down the center of your back, that gives rise to all of the neurons that go out to your arms, your legs, all of your organs, your skin, which is your largest organ. And so that's how that works, because every single part of your body has nerve cells or nerve pathways in them. So that's the connection. That brings us back to what I was saying about the brain-body connection. They're intimately connected, and it's a bi-directional thing. They can't exist without each other. And the more you understand that there's that constant feedback going back and forth, the more you can tap into that kind of thing. The more you can know days before you're going to get sick. I bet your girlfriend knows days before she's going to get a cold or flu.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
All the time.